Okay, so today I'm going to be doing another unboxing that's kind of a bigger deal because it's a whole new computer, a new laptop that I'm going to be using. And so basically, this isn't something I do very often, although I've done these unboxings quite a bit lately. I've made a point to do them, but they're kind of for things that I wouldn't get on a normal basis or, kind of like a big deal, something you're getting for the first time ever or in a long time. Like my history with computers is more so I've never really gotten a gaming PC. I've always preferred laptops for the convenience that you can move them around and kind of just they're more flexible, right? So even though you can make fun of that and say, well, like, oh, you're a hardcore gamer or whatever, but you use a gaming laptop instead of a PC, right? That seems kind of contradictory, but it's still better than console. Even a laptop is still, a gaming laptop is going to be much better than a console, which shows you how bad consoles actually are. But PC elitist who doesn't even use a proper PC. But no, basically my history would be like in 2008 when I was much younger. Obviously, I got my first laptop. It was like an Asus something, I can't remember exactly. Then usually it's like every 4 to 5 years that I get a new one. So that one lasted me from 2008. And what did I do mostly on that? Probably play like WoW. It was like in Wrath of the Lich King period. So I played WoW until like Cataclysm, and then I kind of quit playing WoW around Cataclysm. And then in 2012, I got the next one, right? And that one was when I started to do like other, I don't know, like other PC games that I had missed out on, or going back and playing old school stuff, whatever the case may be. When I did some of my stuff on my old channel, and some of the Court of Reason stuff, some of the permadeath runs, right? Some of my world first clears and stuff come on there. So that's like 2012 to 2016. Then 2016 I got a newer one, and that was, I played like Mad Max on there because it was a new game that just came out like in 2016. And so that kind of was a good way to test it, if you will. And then that lasted me all the way up until 2020. So it's usually like a 4-year window that these last me. And so in 2020, I got the Asus Zephyrus G14, which I'm still using and I still have with me. I use it for sort of ancillary things. So that's the one that I used when I first came back to streaming in 2021. Right, I was using that. And then at some point, I stopped using it because of like PvZ Heroes or something. Or not PvZ Heroes, because of PvZ hard mode, because it wouldn't work right with the orientation. So it's like, oh, my 2020 gaming laptop can't handle PvZ, but it's something weird with the hard mode and the orientation that messes it up. So I ended up using the other one that I got now in 2022, the MSI. So that's a bit unusual for me to get that close together within 2 years. But the fact is I'm still using both of them. So it's not like, and it's even unusual that, oh, it's only been 3 years now and I'm getting this one, but it's been almost more like 4 years because it's almost 2026. So I was almost going to wait till Christmas to do this unboxing. I had gotten it a little bit ago, but I didn't feel the need to really use it yet. It's kind of funny, the story of like why I used each of those things. Like, I was using the Zephyrus that I had gotten in 2020, right? And I was using that for everything, and then it was like and then in 2022 I had bought the MSI, my other one that I'm using currently, like to record on right now and to stream now currently. That I got in 2022 on a whim, just out of the blue, but I didn't really use it right away. Like, I kind of just let it sit in the box for a little bit, and I wasn't in a hurry to use it, but I'm like, okay, I have it, and at some point I'm going to use it. Same thing like with this. This has been sitting there for a little bit, so I don't immediately use them. I'll sort of buy them on an impulse, but then I won't use them until I'm really feel like I need to, or I really wait for a special time. So basically, it was the middle of 2022 or sometime, and then I'm editing some video on there, right? So I had the MSI sitting, again, that I got in 2022, and I'm using my Zephyrus that I got in 2020 still, and then I'm editing some video of one of my first, early VODs from 2021, and it keeps bugging out and crashing and giving me issues. It's called Kyle is Famous, like where you're kind of a talk show host, like bootleg Joe Rogan on steroids or something, and it kept bugging out. So I said, okay, fine, I'll try to do it on my other computer. So like Kyle is Famous trying to edit that broke my whole computer, but which really didn't, but for some reason it kept bugging out. And then it maybe did work on the other one, but I don't know what the whole story was. So just to edit that is the reason why I opened it, unboxed, and started using the MSI. And then I didn't end up streaming on there still for a while later. towards the end of 2022. So I had to unbox and was using it for like editing and stuff, but I wasn't ready to use it for streaming yet. And then I had to because of PVZ hard mode, like I said, because that kept bugging out on my other computer. So then I'm like, okay, let me just test it on a fresh computer. And it worked better on here. Again, whether that's really because of technical requirements or just some other weird setting that I had on there, right? Sometimes it's better just to start fresh and do it on a fresh system that you haven't used much. So again, Kyle is famous. Editing a video of Kyle is famous made me unbox the MSI, and then doing PVZ hard mode of a game that came out again in 2009. That's like an indie caliber graphics, like nothing too demanding, is why I had to start streaming on there, because my Zephyrus G14 couldn't handle it, which is kind of silly. But those were like the two reasons with that. So I have a similar reason here with respect to this, where it's basically I wasn't going to do this immediately, but there's a few things I want to do. So basically I'm having a space issue on my MSI because I edit a lot of stuff on there. So I just did my Red Dead Thanksgiving special, and it's like a 7-hour VOD, and ultimately even after editing it, it's like 5+ hours, almost 6 hours, right? And so the problem with that is it takes up so much space, and I don't have that much space. I have like 200 gigs maybe free at any given time. And so the act of editing that, it won't let you actually process it, because even though the end result of what you export and edit will only be like maybe 100 gigs or close to that, I assume, it takes up like double of that to actually export it. It has to make like a copy cached version or something. And so it has like 2 versions at once in order to actually export it. So you need like double the space of what the VOD actually is. So I wasn't able to do that. Right, it'll export it, and it's kind of annoying, and it doesn't tell you that you don't have enough space. But then when you go to actually play back the video, it'll cut off and crash like halfway through or partway through. So that's the real reason why I'm doing it. So I can use this just as a fresh device to edit stuff on like that without having to worry about the space, because we're not going to put anything on there. And then eventually, if I feel like I can start streaming on there, but I don't really feel the need still yet. So basically, to edit a Red Dead Redemption video, or to just edit long VODs like that, right, for the space aspect of it, that's the main reason why I want to use it right now. And the other thing was the fact that I basically feel like, what was the other reason? I can't remember. It was the fact that, oh yeah, like I had recently done my iPhone 16 unboxing, right? And I've done something interesting with that too, like where I've used it only as like a dedicated content or streaming device. Like I haven't used it personally for anything like, oh, for texting or calling. No, I use a different crappy little Android phone for that. So I didn't want to use it for things like that. Personal use, it was dedicated just to everything I've done on there has been either something on stream. So everything I've downloaded, every app I've downloaded, every game I've downloaded has been on stream. Everything I've done with it, every time I've used it, has been on stream, some form of content, some kind of video. Either I'm just using it for just chatting stuff like while I'm driving, my Absolutist Philosophy series that I keep doing, or whether it's because I, play games on there or whatever I do, it's been all dedicated like when I'm doing streaming and content. So it's like a dedicated content machine, which maybe seems silly, but it protects you on one hand maybe from doxing, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, you have personal stuff on there. But the second part is it makes it sort of an authentic experience too, like where you can kind of follow along and it really feels like personally attached and stuff. Like if people are watching that, they can see like, oh, every single app on there, you can see when I downloaded it, you can, I have the video of every little thing I've done on there. You're kind of getting the full experience, whether it be apps, whether it be games, whatever I'm doing, everything is on there, everything is recorded, everything you can follow the journey for whatever it's worth. It makes it like a complete thing. So that device is meant to be fully purely just for that content purpose. And so I probably will likely do the same thing with this, aside from maybe the editing like I'm talking about, that I won't necessarily show that, or I guess I could record myself editing stuff too, which seems kind of dumb and I don't really want to do that. But as far as other than that, like I'm not going to download anything else on there, right? I'll only use it like, okay, I'll download something if I'm specifically playing it or streaming it, right? But like I won't use this for anything besides editing stuff and doing content that you'll see, in either recording or live stream, right? I won't put any other junk on there, nothing personal. I won't use it for any other use besides, again, as like a dedicated gaming PC or streaming PC, content PC. So laptop. So basically, it's an interesting idea to make it so dedicated so you can kind of live through the whatever. It makes it feel very authentic. So like every file on there, you can see when I got it and how I got it, and it's going to be relevant to something I did on stream, or every single game, every single thing, everything will be on there. Again, with the exception of editing stuff. And then on the iPhone, I guess the exception would just be like sort of looking a few things up that would be like troubleshooting to see like how to get certain things to work or whatever. But yeah, let's actually unbox it here. And so I'm using a little bit of a different camera setup where it's like further away and like on a table and on a tripod. So, I mean, I guess it was always on the table, but oh yeah, brief history with Alienware is that it was something I always heard about when I was younger. You know, people would talk about how good they are or whatever, or partly that you're paying for the name regardless, but they were always considered top of the line and so good. So of course, this is my first time ever getting an Alienware of any kind. And I guess typically the ones I've gotten have been either Acer. It was like Acer was one of the old ones, and then Asus was another one, and then obviously even the one that I have, the Zephyrus G14, is Asus Zephyrus G14, and then the MSI was the first time getting one of those. So yeah, Alienware is definitely new to me. So you can see the box here, pretty nondescript. In fact, the one thing I forgot to mention is how much this actually cost me. Hang on. Okay, so I found the Best Buy receipt in my email, so it's going to be $17.99, right? Aurora U9 5060 32 gigabyte 1 terabyte 16-inch 2, and that is again $17.99. So that's pretty high. It's up there. Usually the ones I get are more like between 1,000 and 15. I don't know if the other ones I've gotten at the time obviously were ever quite that much, but again, it's something that you would expect to last you a very long time, and especially for the more intensive purposes that maybe I use it for, like actual streaming and stuff. But I don't know if showing some of this would be sort of doxing or whatever. Like if there's really nothing to show on, you know, I'll just do it, and if I feel like changing later. So again, the box is pretty basic, nondescript, nothing too special about it. So it's Intel, little battery warning. I mean, the box is pretty bland. So I'll read the side here and then show you Alienware 16X Aurora Ace, whatever that is. Blue is the color, which I guess I didn't even realize what color it would be, but I don't really care. 16-inch QHD plus 240 hertz display with webcam. Yeah, because I'm really going to use that. Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX processor, 30 gigabyte memory, 1 terabyte solid state drive, which clearly should be able to handle all this editing that I'm going to be doing. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060 8 gigabyte graphics. The problem with some of this is, though, people would say you can't upgrade it very easily, like laptops and stuff. So you just kind of have to deal with what it is, which presumably it should be fine for a period of time. But you know, with like a PC, you could just keep upgrading some of the graphics cards and different things that, you know, RAM and whatever, keep upgrading so it can last you much longer that way and keep improving, which is maybe something you should be able to do with console too, like kind of make some sort of rigged up setup where you can just keep improving it instead of having to buy a new console. Windows 11 Home, English and French, McAfee Premium 12 months. That's going to spam me like Norton still spams me on my MSI. It just never goes away. You can't uninstall it. Includes wireless BE and Bluetooth, HDMI and Thunderbolt 4, one zone RGB backlit keyboard, 1 year limited hardware warranty. So the thing that I'll say is that some of these have sort of cucked me a little bit. Maybe it's my fault for not doing enough research, but I don't know if you can even see it. That it's protruding maybe too far out. But like my Zephyrus G14 only has 2 USB ports, and then it didn't have an Ethernet port either because it's kind of tiny. So then I have to use one of the USBs that it has, one of the 2, just to use a hardwire Ethernet. So then I had to get like a USB hub and all this kind of stuff. It's my fault maybe for not being aware of that, but they kind of cheap out on that on such an expensive, you know, otherwise expensive product. And the MSI, same thing. It has two USB ports. It does have the Ethernet at least, but yeah, it's always a surprise with these that they don't always live up to what you'd expect for such a price point. So you have this, and one thing I'm also doing this setup for is for my chest up thing, where I'm trying to get it to show in a better way, like from a little higher up tends to be better. That's even what I see in the ads for it. You'll sometimes see an ad for chest up and their camera angle is much higher. This packaging is made from 100% recycled or renewable materials. Yes, of course, as if you care about that when you're buying a $1,700 fucking thing, computer for, you know, escapist purposes. So let's try to preserve this box a little better than some of the ones I've been doing, because some of them I've sort of destroyed. Oh, and I'm also using my Shure MV7 for this instead of the Rode mic that I normally do, like the handheld little wireless one, because I've kind of done a whole setup where normally it's not positionally very comfortable, because this one's actually like standing on a table and it's much bigger and stuff. But okay, I really don't care about the box, honestly, but I didn't want to just cut it like this, but I guess I will. And I like to show the act of me doing it, but it's pretty annoying. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm also being quiet when I'm doing this normally, because then I'm using both my hands, so I can't use my mic because I'm holding it or whatever. But in this case, I don't have to do that, I guess, because I do have the mic set up kind of next to me. So that is a little bit annoying to actually get that open, but whatever, it's okay. Again, I'm not claiming to be an expert unboxer from that perspective, but honestly, I'm not going to use it, like, necessarily. In fact, it's a little deceptive that way too, because the computer itself is much smaller, perhaps, than the... Or, like, I've opened it the wrong way because it's like that. The computer is much smaller than the box would indicate, but I actually don't like them too big. Be more alien. Yeah, we're Victor Wembanyama over here. He should do a sponsorship with them. Maybe he has. Because they always call him the alien. So this is the charger. But no, I typically am not going to use a box like this to move it around. Like, I'll get like a case for it, or I don't know what exactly. So you get the wire in here. I guess this angle might not be the greatest to see, but you have this little thing for mice or whatever. I forget what those are even used for. Yeah, you have the charger wire here. And so you got that. Made in China. I mean, this will be the half part of it, and then this will be the other part of it. So, gotta slice this dude open. And sometimes these chargers for these kind of things can be hard to replace, because that happened with my Asus Zephyrus, like where somehow the wire over time started to get damaged, which is probably my fault. It's not even like a fault of the product, but it's just that looks like this is supposed to come off or something. But then I had to order it online. It's not something you can just get anywhere. So again, that's the charger, pretty basic, just, you know, the 2-piece component. But again, this sort of charger would be the same thing. So Dell, Intel are the two brandings here. It's a little tricky actually to get that in there. So decent length wire, right? You always want that to be flexible. So it's pretty simple packaging. Like a lot of these things, despite their price point, like the iPhone or whatever, it'll have like 2 things in there and that's it. Or again, even the number of ports, to complain about that, like the fact that it would have, you know, it would have only the one USB-C port and then nothing else. So, oh, you want to use headphones that are wired like that through the USB-C? Oh, that's all you can use. Or you want to use a hardwire adapter? That's all you can use. This is the actual beast. It's a little heavy for what you'd expect. So we'll hold that for a second. And I guess that's all that's really in there. So the box is pretty much to the point. Not necessarily a bad thing, but let's do away with that for a second here. So again, this is my first experience with Alienware, so we get the little... They always had such a good reputation, but they were, you know, considered a little more expensive. Again, like you're almost paying for the name, that you could probably custom build one of these for, I don't know what this is, some little barcode on there. My Alienware, which, oh, this might dox me, or it might just be a general thing to... Whatever, just some specs, nothing too special here. Very nondescript and to the point. Welcome to Alienware. Since 1996, Alienware has been driving the evolution of PC gaming, setting new standards with high-performance systems built for those who demand the best. 1996, like, was that really even a demand category at that time? So they were kind of ahead of the curve that way. Your new Alienware system is more than just a gaming PC. Yeah, it's actually less than that. It's a gaming laptop. It's a portal to an unparalleled experience forged with input from passionate gamers and tech experts who share your commitment to excellence. With this powerful machine, you're equipped to push the limits in gaming and beyond. You're now part of the community that helps shape the future of gaming. Connect, explore, and contribute with fellow gamers at Alienware Arena. Your journey starts here. Be more alien. So that's a nice little card they give you there, and then that's what you get for spending $1,700, but again, I would expect that, like, that's what we almost have to do, though. I have to test something that just came out, like a new game, and see how well it does. And it's not that it wouldn't be able to handle it, but with the whole laptop stigma issue, and while streaming it too at the same time, it might be more along the lines of it could handle it, but maybe not at the absolute max settings. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use the glove as much for that. This almost seems like it could be a good case to carry it in. Like, I wouldn't mind, but it's a little too thin. So in a way, there's nothing really good to use as a carrying case for it. The MSI came with like some little black box cover, kind of like this, but much thicker. That would be something I would actually use. Or I guess the Zephyrus, I do use the actual overall box, like the Alienware box I just threw off to the side. It kind of looks like that. So this could be the carrying case that you use for it. For now, I wouldn't mind. I'm probably not going to move it around much anyway, but... Got my dirty glove all over it. Okay, so here's the beast itself. It kind of baited me. I thought I was pulling it from the other direction. So get rid of that thing. So that was pretty quick and easy and to the point. Again, for a $1,700 monster of a system, this is pretty much to the point. You've got some little black cover for the screen there, presumably. You're gonna get not only my fingerprints on the screen, but a And maybe that's like a cloth you can clean it with. Or presumably, at least it wouldn't be bad for it because it's meant to preserve it there. But yeah, it's like pretty to the point and not really as exciting of a introduction as you might think. So what I might actually do is, yes, I could obviously do a video on here showing me setting it up, but I might actually show it just like this because all the information I'm going to use, like I said, is going to be for the streaming purpose. So like my name might just be One Quiet Gamer. Like I'll use that as if my real name, and like I'll see if I can do that and how well you can even see the screen and stuff like that. I'm not sure. But because this initial first setup, I do want to show because that I can't use like OBS or something to record it because I don't have OBS yet on here. You know what I mean? Like when you're first turning it on. Let me get a feel for the keys. They feel pretty normal, pretty flat. Kind of soft, not too loud, not too deep of a feel, so pretty solid. I don't know how well you can hear that, but it's pretty normal. What you'd expect, decent size, not too big. I'm not a fan of the really big ones. My MSI is about the same size as this. In fact, it might be exactly the same size. And then my Zephyrus is very small. So you can see the keys, you can see the screen. We'll minimize this for a second. Minimize in real life. It has that weird effect of like tracing your print for a second there. Right, it'll stay there for a second and then disappear. So just get a appreciation for the whole visual of it. Again, this is like a, you know, good first look to see like, should you buy this? And I always say like, I'm not necessarily endorsing the product or anything. I'm just kind of showing it. Right, I don't even know. I wouldn't even know enough to endorse it. So you have the fans on the side, right, that you can see there, that you could use your little duster. I don't know if you should do that when you first get it, or I'll do it after a couple of months. You know, your little compressed air thing. This is, I can't even tell what that is. This is a USB port, obviously. This might also be a USB, but it looks weird. There's a headphone jack. What is the second one here? It has like a little flap. I'm honestly not sure. So I don't know what that is. Maybe a USB with a weird aspect to it. We'll turn this around. And there's nothing on this side. A couple more fans. But... oh, okay. So then there's a couple more fans here. A couple more fans here. This is where you're going to charge it from, right? This is going to be the HDMI. This is going to be like the micro USB, or I mean the USB-C. And then this is the other Ethernet. So the two Ethernets are going to be in almost pretty odd positions here. But no, like I said, I'll show you the initial setup. The overall seems pretty basic. You know, nothing crazy about the design that I think requires special noting. So I don't know how well you can see this. So I clicked the power button, but it also might not come on, or it might need to charge. So I don't know necessarily how to do that right now because I don't necessarily want to plug it in, but it might not have battery when you first use it. Okay, so we're going to charge this in here on the back. You really probably won't be able to see it, but it's that one port that I was telling you about that you're going to charge it in from there. Right, you poke it in right there in the back. And then, so the position of all these things seems fine. The only thing that seems odd, the HDMI being on the back might actually be convenient. That might be better than some of these other ones that is always on the side and takes up maybe unnecessary space. So I don't mind that. But I do dislike the fact that one of the USB, one of maybe only the two USBs that you're going to get, is on the back. That might be a little bit odd for some things. And I'm not sure what the other port on the other side was. Let's just do a very, very basic setup. It should come on now because, I mean, I'm actively charging it. So maybe you shouldn't do that. Like, you should give it some time to charge, but I don't know how well you can see this, and I can't even see it that well given the position that I'm at, but I want you to see this first initial setup at least. So again, this is like, it's impossible to even judge it, right? You'd have to run some games on here. You'd have to test it. It's impossible to even have an opinion on it that way. Right, the design is pretty basic. I'm almost getting the minimalistic vibe from it a little bit. Like, they're not trying to be too flashy with it. It just looks pretty basic, right? despite the power I'm sure it has, right? If you just look at this, oh, this could just be some office computer for $500 that you get from Walmart. There's nothing about the design of it that stands out, which is not even something I necessarily care about, but just interesting to note. So I'll try to do this basic setup. So we get the touchpad here, and one thing I actually don't like with touchpads is they don't show the distinction anymore with a lot of them. Like the left and the right click doesn't have like a clear designated line.
Set up your device using by pressing plus control. For more
okay, I don't want to hear that. Country. Is this the right country or region? Yes. Is this the right keyboard layout input method? Okay. Want to add a second keyboard layout? We can do it later. Okay, so I just did that where I connected to the Wi-Fi. I won't show that. And one thing that I realized in doing that is there is no Ethernet port unless that one weird part was one, but it didn't look big enough for it. So I would also need to do the same thing on here, that you can't hardwire this gaming PC, despite you obviously wanting to do that for better internet performance. Obviously, if you're playing multiplayer games, you can't actually hardwire it unless you have like a adapter for it. Like obviously what I use for my other computer, because but that one does have one. The MSI does have one, but for some reason it would glitch out and sometimes crash when I hardwire it directly. So I use an adapter to use like a USB Ethernet adapter and then do it. But basically this one doesn't seem to have that. Again, unless that other part on the side was one, but it didn't seem like it. So for now, I'll just do Wi-Fi. It's updating. Which you would think is a little odd, like, oh, right out of the box, it should be fully updated, but that's maybe off when you bought it, which it's been, I think it was like maybe August that I got it. It showed in the receipt, like, I do like that icon. August, so September, October, November. So I waited quite a while for it. It was just kind of sitting there, and I was waiting for the right time. You know, oh, maybe closer to Christmas, but whatever. This main impulse of using it now is honestly just for that reason, because if I start doing longer episodes, I should be able to edit them without having to worry about it, and I don't want to, you know, feel like I'm compromising it or split it in two parts. Like, I should just be able to do those if I want to do it. Not that I do those super long episodes super often anyway, but yeah, I just want to show you the very basic initial setup, and then once we're actually on the computer, I can always just use OBS and record to show you that way. So that's pretty much the extent of this. So again, I don't know how much you can really learn from it. I showed you the specs. It looks decent, but oops, you've lost internet connection. The little license agreement and stuff like that. Let's name your device. See, now I won't name it after myself. I'll name it after, let's say, my channel. That's going to be what it is, the dedicated, you know, OQG machine or whatever it is. So, or yeah, I should do it like that though, where it's not too direct to me. It's like, oh, would that show up then if it's like, it shouldn't, like, oh, nearby devices, and then it'll say my name of my channel. Right, like my phone, I did the same thing. I put my first name is One and my last name is Gamer, like One Quiet Gamer. Quiet is my middle name. So whatever. So frankly, I just want to get to the desktop, so then whatever else I could show, I can do whenever I want. And just the only thing I'll do immediately is I'm going to download Premiere Pro, right, and then just download one of my VODs, like the Red Dead thing, and just edit it, and that's it. Right, like there's nothing else I'm going to do with it at all. I can even show you the bloatware and all that shit some other way. It's probably not the best visual clarity on this right now anyway, given the distance and everything, but just to give you an idea. Because, like, how else would you show this if not with a camera or some external thing? Because I can't be recording the screen when I don't have any software on here to be able to record with, so... But yeah, this is the most fun and exciting thing you want to do when you first get a new product, is you want to sit here and wait and have to update, you know, something that you just got, which is fine, but I mean, it's not always the ideal experience. So again, this would be good for doing certain things. Maybe if I do like a more hardcore series, like a first playthrough permadeath of new games that just came out, right? That could definitely be something that this could be good for. But I feel like I'd be disappointed if it doesn't. Like, oh, I want to get some new game that just came out and run it on ultra settings while streaming, and it probably won't even work, right? Even something right now, let alone in years to come, because again, it is limited by the mobile, or not the mobile, but the laptop aspect, or it's more like a price point thing. Like, this might be really good, but for 1,700, you could get a gaming PC that's far better, right? It wouldn't be. Either you could get the same quality for like 1,200 or less, or you could custom build it or whatever, or you could get one for the same price that's much better, right? That's just the way that it works. But yeah, 1,700, again, a little higher price point, but again, this should presumably last me like 5 years, the way that I was saying it. Or if not, if I'm really taking off with content, then oh, I could afford one based on that. But that's obviously not the case. Like, in my whole 4 years of being back to doing it, from whatever little subs or something you get, I've made like maybe 100, 200, something like 50 to 100 a year, which 100 is even the threshold of being an affiliate or whatever, that I maybe dip below, but they still don't take it away, because whatever, if you're at least active, they won't take it away. But the point is that you might think, oh, so that's a profit still of $100 a year, which is a joke, but it's not even that, because you look at all the things that that wouldn't even pay for this camera that I'm using, for all the setup. So I don't really care on that basis per se. Like, I never ask for subs or anything, but it's just more to show, like, there's no way, right, that you're able to do all this based on that. Like, I don't know, I'm just doing it because I want to do it, or this is the sort of thing I might, I would do anyway. Right, every few years I would get a computer. Maybe I'm doing it a little sooner than I would have, but it's a little bit annoying that I have to wait this long. Again, all I want to do is get to the desktop. You can look at the bloatware, and then I'm fine with it, because again, I could always show you a part 2 where I do like a full tour of the actual thing, but I just want to show it up until I'll be able to download some recording software on here. Because again, this is an unboxing. It's not meant to really show too much of what we're doing here. But there's nothing really too noteworthy about the appearance or design of it. It's pretty basic, pretty simple. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but just, I do like that it's not too large. That box had me a little bit worried. So again, it's pretty much the same size as my MSI. But you can't be deceived by that. Like, the power of it could be much better than that would indicate. So yeah, that's the main thing I might start using it as for now, is like an editing machine for some of those larger VODs, again, to save space, keep it like a little more organized, because I have a bunch of junk on my other computers where I just have years and years worth of random stuff. And then I have I have that hilarious setup of like 10 different external hard drives that are all like 8 to 16 gigabytes each, and they're all like, they're all filled with VODs and things that I've done over the course of this last 4 years. So it shows you how those alone are like $1,000 right there, or more probably. And so I have like 10 different external hard drives that are all packed with the VODs, because I save all my VODs. So even if I don't edit or keep up with them, especially some of the ones at the beginning and when I first came back, I wasn't keeping up with editing or uploading them, but they would be, they're still saved there, so I could get around to them eventually. Maybe even now would be a good excuse to do that. Yeah, there's nothing I'm super disappointed with the design of it. Maybe the USB on the back is a little bit unusual. The HDMI on the back is actually kind of cool. The lack of an Ethernet is maybe a little odd, so the same thing would happen like if I have to use the Ethernet adapter. Okay, restarting again. All this you have to do on a first setup is a little bit annoying, but maybe to be expected. Maybe it's because I waited so long, so like it's doing updates that would have been released since then, or maybe that would just make it take longer than it would have, or maybe you would have had to do this anyway, because by the time it shipped out and it's sitting in the store, and then you get it, and then it's sitting around for me too, there is a sense of value there. But, in a certain sense, maybe they should skip all this and just let me get to the desktop, and then I can always do it later, right, like this shouldn't be necessary to just start the computer, but whatever. Yeah, we're almost there. Again, all I want to do is see the desktop. Like I said, I want this to be mainly an unboxing. You can look forward to another episode where I show you actually the full thing of like, okay, I'll show you the desktop. So again, I'll even tell you the first things I'm going to do. So you'll miss out on those. I won't show those on video. Or maybe even I will, but like we'll download like Google Chrome. We'll download from that OBS. Then we'll download from that, or like OBS so I can record what I'm doing, and then Premiere Pro, and then so I can edit the Red Dead VOD, use Chrome to download the Red Dead VOD, and then just edit it, and that's pretty much it, right? So it restarted again. It's getting a little bit annoying. Just don't get one of these if you're like in some emergency pinch. Like, don't get a new computer. You're in some emergency pinch, and it's like, okay, I don't care how much I have to pay. Just give me any computer. I got to use it right away to solve some worldwide crime spree, mystery, whatever. Like, if it was something on the spur of the moment, you got to sit through all this shit after paying $1,700. Like, for ordinary purposes, it's fine, but like, come on. 30% there. Okay, I mean, or I think I never even got Windows 11 on my Zephyrus. Like, I was holding out for some reason. It's because I didn't want it, or just because it can sometimes mess things up once you do get it, like if it comes out right away. So again, we're OQG is even the name of this thing, obviously, and so it'll be a very dedicated content machine. Even what we're doing here, like I'm trying to keep it very pure. So like every single thing I do on here, you'll be able to see. Or even if you don't, it'll be like very basic, like just editing stuff. I'll try, okay, restarting again. I'll try not to use it for anything aside from that. And I'll also try to keep it tidy within just keep only exactly what I'm using in the bare essentials. I'll do, you know, like get that Red Dead thing done. Then I'll upload it, then I'll delete it, then I'll make sure, you know, we keep it organized, because I haven't done that with my other computers, and it is causing a bit of a problem with the space. Even with all those external hard drives, there's too many things on here that I want at a time. Like I use this thing called Windeer Stat, which tells you like a whole breakdown of all the things that are taking up space on your computer. And it's like BlueStacks is like 58 gigabytes. And I don't want to delete it in case I want to use it, but okay, please. We've waited enough. We've done enough updates. What you'll come to realize is that you won't even be able to see any of this, because just on a camera, like I don't know exactly how it's going to look to you, but yeah, generally the design is pretty minimalistic. I don't dislike it, but it kind of doesn't stand out quite enough. And again, the performance you'll have to judge for yourself, or like once I actually play something or stream something. Obviously that will have to come into play, but you know, I can't really say much about it. Okay, lost internet again. So the part there that I skipped is just sign into your Microsoft account, which is annoying because it kind of forces you to do that. I tried to skip it, but whatever. I'm using my obviously Quiet Gamer email for that as well. So I'm trying to use everything kind of in uniform related to that. Create a pin. You can hack into my shit if you see that. So you can't tell what I'm typing, or you can tell what I'm typing. But we can just do any random thing for now. Provide a pin that meets the complexity requirements. Like I'm doing it as a deliberate troll, dude. What the fuck? I mean, there is a certain trend of this, like the kind of obnoxious amount of shit that you have to go through at the beginning when you first set it up. Like it's crazy. Right, I don't want any of this shit. So you're going to do, it's a little hard for me to even read what I'm seeing here because I'm trying to keep it within the camera, but then I'm off to the side a little bit. Like I cannot read even what that says. Inking and typing, I think is what it says. Some sort of promotional offers. Right, like isn't the bloatware that you're gonna stick me with enough, but you have to do all this shit too? Like how long? How long are you gonna make it take before I just get to my desktop? That's all I want. Like just, which again isn't really a criticism of this. This is just the whole Microsoft Windows, modern, whatever, anything you get. No, but I mean it keeps going. It still keeps going. I mean I guess I can skip it, but let's just see what it would expect you to be able to do. Okay, you have development, entertainment, gaming, social, creativity, business. I can't even read what that says. Like family. Use your phone from your PC. That's kind of a cool thing, actually. So then could I, or is it just phone as in phone function, or can I stream my iPhone from this? Because there isn't really a BlueStacks emulator alternative for it, so that could actually be good. Oh my god, just please, like they're almost doing it as a troll. Yeah, I don't need all that with the office and shit like that. Like, can we just, we can do it later. Whatever it is, we can do it later. So here's the desktop, that's all I wanted, and we will do a little other session later where I kind of show this directly on the system itself.